to Pete and Hannah's Watch List. I'm your host, Pete Mitchell, and we're here today for We Interrupt Regular Programming, our TV podcast. On today's show, we are going to recap the new Kate Winslet show on HBO, Regime. We're also going to continue our look at Curb Your Enthusiasm and Masters of the Air. But before we begin, I'm going to tell the viewers and the listeners what they should do. Like, follow, subscribe to all our channels. Hit the notification button and you'll get great content like this one, including we did an Oscar recap show, Hannah and I. And it was some fun stuff. We did live stream on YouTube and Instagram, and you can get it now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Tomorrow will be What's Next, and we're going to be reviewing The Great Escaper and Imaginary. And this week we'll talk about Oscars as well on movie news, and we'll preview a couple of new releases. And then this week it's movie 85 of the AFI Top 100 revisited, and it's Night at the Opera. So yeah, good week of content on the channel, plus our usual reviews and usual games and stuff. Let's get on to the show, and let's talk about the new show from HBO, the Sunday night show starring Kate Winslet. It's up to episode 2, and it is called Regime. It is a fictional country in the Middle Europe, it's called, and it stars the great Kate Winslet from many movies, Titanic, The Reader, where she won an Oscar for, and she was in The Mayor of Easttown, which is also on HBO last year. So we start off with she's struggling with health, and they've got all these mold detectors around. There is a recent tragedy with some military men killing some locals, and that military man is brought to the palace, and he has been put in charge of the mold in the palace. And it's really just a funny, satirical look at world politics. And there's currently like a deal trying to be made between America and Kate Winslet's country, and where she looks like it's going to deal with cobalt, and she decides to put a pin in the deal at the end. And then you got the offsider that's detecting mold. He says to her, "You need to stand up for our country." And so she does, and she's in this second episode. The Secretary of State, a blonde Secretary of State, in the ilk of Hillary Clinton, comes to town, and she says, "You need to have this deal. You know, we've had your back all these years." And then Kate Winslet said, "Mate, you've walked all over us all the time," and it doesn't end well. Then you get this scene where there's a DNA of like the founder of Middle Europe, and it's a long descent, and it's the mold detector. So should you watch this show? Yeah, I'd say it's quite funny. It's got the mix of Veep, guy that was like the mold detector. I'm going to put the name of him underneath here. He was the baddie in a few shows, but most of all I remember him from being the big bad in Red Sparrow, which is starring Jennifer Lawrence. I watched the episode live last week. I watched the episode live this week after the Oscars, and I found it quite amusing. And it's an easy watch, 40 minutes, and yeah, I can see where this show's going, and I'm there for it. So Regime is currently streaming on HBO in the States, and you can get it on Binge and Foxtel in Australia. I'm quite enjoying it. The next show, let's talk about Curb Your Enthusiasm. This is probably the funniest episode of this season. I absolutely love this. You've got the elements of Larry dating Sienna Miller. Sienna Miller has this propensity of acting with fruit. You've got Lori Loughlin, who went through a bit of a rough patch with a college scandal where she was trying to buy her daughter into college. She's trying to get herself into the golf club. Larry helps her and then finds out she is dodgy in other ways and other than college. It's how he convinces these people to do this is so good. Then you got Susie. She has got a billboard on Santa Monica Boulevard and someone keeps drawing penises on it. Then you got Larry going to an all-you-can-eat restaurant and getting kicked out. It's just a very, very funny episode. Larry gets arrested at the end of the episode for suspecting drawing penises on billboards. What an episode. Start to finish, just every bit. The Sienna Miller stuff was funny. The Lori Loughlin stuff was funny. The Susie stuff is hilarious. Yep. Cannot get enough of this season, and I'm just keep backing up every week. And MVP of this episode, I would say, would be Larry. He was a Brit. I just can't get enough of him. I'm going to miss this show. Just how he comes up with these ideas. Like the three-pronged attack of Lori Loughlin, Sienna Miller and Susie, just all three, just episodes humming. Lori Loughlin's doing a play with Ted Danson. Larry is reciting the Gettysburg Address to go pee, and he forces him to actually want to urinate when he hears Ted Danson give the Gettysburg Address. And then there's this really funny stuff of where he gets caught up in the person's jacket in behind him, in front of him, and you can just guess what happens next. It's just, man, what a funny show. I'm going to miss it. The last show I'm going to talk about today is Masters of the Air. Now, we're up to the second last episode, the penultimate episode. We get the Tuskegee Airmen. We get a little bit of dogfighting, and then they get crashed into Germany, and they get taken to the camp where they meet up with Cleven and Buck. You get back in England, they're planning for D-Day, so you get a little bit of that. But like, I'm just so disappointed in this show. It's just really tailed off. I was really liking the first couple episodes, but you've gone from like the height of like dogfighting, bombing raids, and then it's just nothing happening in episodes. Like, you could have gotten the Tuskegee Airmen for a couple of episodes and shown their story, and it's just you just get one little episode, and they end up in the camp with the other soldiers. It's just meh. I'm really disappointed in this show. The other, like, Pacific and Band of Brothers is actually building to something, and I just don't see where this, like, you can sort of see where it's building to, and, one or more the main people are going to die. You just know that. And I just, I've gone off Masters. Yeah, we're hanging in for one more episode, but really, I think there's better stuff on TV, and I think the previous two, if you haven't seen Band of Brothers and Pacific, just way better versions of this World War II drama. That is it for the show. Next week we're going to talk about The Gentleman. Currently watching that on Netflix. Got released last Friday. And we're also going to have the final episode of Masters of the Air and Curb Your Enthusiasm, and we'll continue looking at the regime. Really looking forward to, as episodes go, we're going to do a recap of Shogun, which is the FX show on Disney Plus in Australia. We'll wait for another couple of episodes. We'll get rid of Masters of the Air, then we'll start looking at Shogun. That is a really good show. I've just started watching it, and really enjoying the first couple of episodes. So that will be a review in the next couple of weeks. Don't forget, tomorrow is What's Next, the show where we help you figure out what to watch next. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. You can catch us on all social media platforms, and including Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts if you just want to listen to it. Something quick you can listen to on the way to work. Don't forget to leave your feedback. We're always looking for feedback on how to improve the channel, And if you want us to review any TV shows or review any movies, drop us a line and we'll be able to do that for you. Until tomorrow when we catch you for What's Next, the show where we help you figure out what to watch next. I'm your host, Pete Mitchell, and it's bye for now.